So what does a game show host and the king of rock and roll have in common? How about money, money, and money? And a big desire to just give it all away. And they became lifelong friends. And they met on the biggest night in music history. So how did that all go down? Well, stick around and find out, because it all is coming up next on this episode of the Elvis Impact. It all starts in just 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, back to your question.
How's your day been?
It's been great. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking. Mine has been productive. Thanks for asking. Mine has been kind of busy. I got a lot accomplished today. I've been learning a lot, and
Same.
had a really good dinner. So.
Yep. Welcome everybody to the Elvis Impact. Thanks again for coming back and joining us for another Fabulosio episode. I don't even know if that's a word. It's a now.
Cleaning product. Fabuloso.
Fabulosio.
Oh, just Fabuloso.
Oh, is that really true?
Yeah.
Fabuloso is an actual cleaning product.
It's a cleaning product.
What is it for? What?
It's like a Mr. Clean, but it's Fabuloso.
Okay.
It's fabulous. No, it comes in purple and green.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. We learned something new today on the Elvis Impact. We've got a guy on this episode today that, actually was, I would say, significant in Elvis's life. Certainly became a good friend of Elvis and actually had a pretty good career of his own. So I think we should get into it for this one. We are going to talk about a gentleman that originally and formally went by the name of Winston Conrad Martindale, better known as Wink Martindale. And Wink Martindale, if you weren't familiar, was basically, besides being one of Elvis's good friends throughout his career and the rest of his life, also became a pretty good talent in his own right. So we thought we'd pay a little bit of a tribute to Wink Martindale and just kind of talk a little bit about him and the relationship he had with Elvis. Which was pretty cool. And ironically, it started on a pretty darn big old night. So
it was the night in July, and Wink Martindale was out with his football buddies, and he was going to give them a tour of the radio station.
Yep.
So Wink was the morning DJ, and then in the evening was Dewey Phillips, who did he did the evening show.
Red Hot and Blue or something like that?
Yes,
yeah.
Correct.
Okay. You're correct, sir.
It was like you said
Thank
it,
you.
as I'm like, I went to go say it.
Ding.
So anyway, so he his football buddies wanted to see the show, see the radio station. So he showed them around the radio station, and the switchboard was going crazy. And he's like, "What is going on?"
So he kind of stepped into this. Is that exactly what happened? Okay.
So back up is when Dewey Phillips took the acetate to the radio station. I'm sorry, Sam Phillips.
Okay,
Phillips.
Yeah, right.
Took the acetate to the radio station just to get some test play out of it to see, is market going to like what they heard?
Yeah. Dewey was a super popular local DJ back then. His program was crazy popular. So yeah, so he thought he was going to see what kind of play this got.
So the switchboard is lighting up, and Wink is like, "What is going on?" And here, that was when That's All Right Mama was playing once, twice, 3 times, 7 times. Another time I read 14 times.
Yeah, some multiple times.
So it was just an exciting time. So they wanted Elvis to go. They wanted Elvis to know about this. So they sent Wink to go back to the parents' house,
Presley's, yeah.
Presley's house, to Gladys, and she said that he was at the movie theater.
Yeah, because nobody knew where Elvis was when this all went down. But my understanding is he got wind that this was going to happen. I don't know how.
He was nervous, so he hung out at the theater.
Yeah, that's why he got lost. Yeah, so like because he just like he didn't know how he was going to handle it, that kind of thing. And I have not heard. Did you hear how he got wind of it? I had seen that more than once. I had heard that more than once as well.
Yeah, I don't know how he got. He was nervous about it. So to be nervous about it, someone had to spill the beans.
Yeah, so they're trying to find him to locate him down. So Wink is in charge to go to the Presleys. Found out from Gladys, like you said. So they say, oh yeah, he's down in the movie theater watching westerns, as it turned out.
Which are really, I like to watch westerns.
Yeah, westerns are okay, but it depends. It depends on what it is, I guess, for me, for a western. But anyway, that's beside the point.
So Elvis liked westerns the same way I liked westerns. So yeah, so then the ushers going up and down the aisle trying to find him. Yeah. They find him.
Can you imagine with the flashlight? They're going up and down, and they're probably stepping over popcorn and people's bubble gum and crap.
You don't make out to a cowboy.
But they go there anyway because you can go make out at a movie theater.
So, and this is one time Elvis was not with a woman. He did not have a girlfriend that I know of.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you would have heard about it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true because they found him alone at the movie theater watching the movies.
That right there is a historical moment. He was alone. He didn't have a girlfriend.
That is true. That is probably one of the rare times that happened.
Exactly.
I think so. Yeah. So they round him up and they say, you got to get down to the radio station because there's so much activity. There's all this hustle and bustle and places going crazy and people want to hear your song over and over and they want to know who this guy is and where'd you come from and so forth. So they wanted to talk to him and just, get him about it. Now, he goes down to the radio station and then what? So
Sam Phillips wanted to interview him.
Yeah.
And so Sam said, Elvis, do you mind, I have some questions for you. Do you mind if I interviewed you? And Elvis said, well, he was kind of nervous, but he said, okay. So they just started talking. And then after 15, 20, whatever minutes, then Sam says, okay, well, I think that pretty much does it for her.
Yep.
And Elvis said, well, I thought you were going to interview me. Yep. And he said, I just did, son. just like that.
Yep. And Elvis didn't have a clue, and it's a good thing he didn't because, by all accounts, I don't know how he would have handled it. He probably would have freaked out.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah, because he had no clue that he was on the air. And if you listen to this interview, and I remember listening to this interview more than once, he's very, very relaxed, very casual, very much in charge of it. So I think that, honestly, that probably helped up his cred a little bit with the kids and
so that right then is when Wink and Elvis
became friends.
Yep. And they were friends all the way up until he died.
Yep. Yeah. So their friendship started that, and they because they were both from the South. And Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi. Wink was born in Jackson, Tennessee, and they they obviously then had crossed the same circles over that next couple of years as Elvis was starting to rise in that fame. And then, as it turns out, Elvis starts doing some tours around the South, around the southern states and stuff like that. Well, it comes back around that now Wink is into this dance party. I think it was called Wink Martindale's Dance Party, if I recall.
Yeah, top 10.
Top 10 dance party or what have you. So he's hosting this show. Again, it's kind of like an American Bandstand style. And as it turned out, Elvis was in the area and I think was there to promote a charity event.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So Elvis was in town. He was promoting a charity event, and one of the prizes was like a 14 or 17 karat diamond ring.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
So he called Wink and he said, can you help me promote this? The fundraiser. And Wink, at this point, they have a friendship, and Wink had he had a hunch that Elvis had something, and that going to go far.
Yeah, he said in
knew.
later interviews talking to Wink Martindale, Wink said that, he just, as you went along in that interview and you talked to him, he's like, I just knew something was up here. And so Elvis gets this gig to get on to promote this show. Now, here's the kicker. He went around the Colonel's back to do this, which at that time was like a huge no-no. Like pretty much,
yeah.
Anything you know about the Colonel at this point, whether you love him or hate him, you know that darn well that nothing went on if the Colonel didn't know about it. Well, Elvis went around at this point. Now, granted, they were still early in their relationship, Elvis and the Colonel, but he went around his back to get this done. And another kicker, which I think is probably the biggest issue for Colonel Parker, was Elvis did this for free. Mm-hmm. He didn't get paid for it. He just went around his back. He just went on and just did a favor for a friend, or a friend was doing a favor for him, and it was just all for free. So he does the interview, and in the course of this interview, Wink knew that this was going to be something significant. He just had that hunch.
He had a hunch.
Because he saw what happened the night of That's All Right. So he, out of his own pocket, hired a photographer to come down and do what they called a kinescope, which is basically a video of the interview, because the budget was super low at the time, right, for the dance party, and that was something they couldn't afford. So Wink's like, I think this is worth me pulling out of pocket for.
You just had the feeling. You didn't know what was happening, but the electricity, George, was incredible.
How about the big show at Rustwood Park scheduled for July 4th? Bob Johnson surely, I know, wants us to mention that, and we want to mention it. I believe the proceeds from this show go to the Cynthia Milk Fund. Is that right, Elvis?
Yes, sir, that's right. And I'd like to say let's see, what would I like to say? I'd like to say that we have a diamond ring that we're going to have as a door prize. It's my initial ring. I've had it for some time, and it has 14 diamonds in it, and we're going to give it away at the door as a door prize.
That possibly was the first filmed interview.
First filmed interview
of
Elvis Presley. Yeah. Fast forward again, since we're talking about Wink Martindale. Fast forward a little bit longer to a little bit more into Elvis's career. He goes to the Army, comes back, he starts making movies. There was a girl on the set that Elvis ended up happened to be starting to date, and I don't remember. Do you know how they met by chance? This girl's name is Sandy Farrah.
She was an extra. She was a dancer on the film. She was an extra.
Okay, so Sandy Farrah is her name, and they had started dating, and this was basically around 1960, 1961, somewhere in that zone, and they dated, I think, from what I read, for 6 years or something. It was a fair amount of time, but obviously I don't know that was really exclusive, and who knows what that means even, really. As it turned out, about 15 years after that, Sandy Farrah and Wink Martindale ended up getting married, so kind of a crazy little connection there. So Sandy and Wink now are married, and Elvis and Wink continue to keep in touch through the movie years, and they kind of see each other a little bit. Now, at this point, I think it was in the early 60s that Wink then moved on from Memphis television.
Yes, he left the radio.
Yep, go ahead. So Wink ends up over time, again, we're fast forwarding a little bit more, the Deck of Cards record. So Wink Martindale made a record called the Deck of Cards. You tell about that story, because you did more on that than
I remember the song.
I've never heard the song.
So it tells the story of a soldier who was court-martialed because when the troop were going on a Sunday to church, all the other soldiers had their prayer book. So he was court-martialed. And then when he got into court and he had to prove his story, in meantime, Wink is narrating all this, that the young soldier proceeded to share the story to the judge of how the Deck of Cards is his Bible.
The soldier said, "Sir, I have been on the march for about 6 days. I had neither Bible nor prayer book, but I hope to satisfy you, sir, with the purity of my intentions." And with that, the boy started his story.
It also acted as his almanac.
An almanac? Mm-hmm. Was he a farmer?
Because 52 cards, 52 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the different, the ace represented the one king,
Okay.
God. And then he just went through.
Why wouldn't a king represent the king? Wouldn't that make more better sense instead of an ace?
We're talking about
A deck of cards.
Deck of cards in the Bible.
Yeah. But wouldn't a king make a better sense to be the representative of a king? I'm just saying. I don't know.
Higher power. The most highest one is an ace.
But a king's a king. It says king on the card with a K.
Am I going to sing that song? From a jack to a king.
Okay, good.
So now it's the entertainment hour. No. So actually that hit, he sold 3 million records. It was platinum. And he recited it on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yep.
So one of the game shows was called What's That Song?
It's time for What's This Song? And here's the star of the show, Win Martindale.
Thank you very much. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you, and good morning, everybody.
So I always stop and think, if the Colonel didn't have that much pressure and control over him, what if Elvis did that game show?
Oh, could you imagine that?
How
That would be crazy.
fun, because he knows every song.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally.
That he would just hear like the first 2 tunes
Yeah.
and he would know what it is.
He'd be like, I know the answer.
And I mean, how fun would that have been? And he would have had fun. He would have been laughing.
Oh, totally.
And at this point, it's the 60s, so he already has he's got his mafia.
Yep.
And they all get on it. They would have a blast.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That would have been really cool.
Then the show's ratings would have been like, phew.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It would have just been through the roof, and him saying like, I don't know, whatever the famous songs were at the time that he would probably chime in on, like witchcraft,
Yeah, he knew them all. But this is during the time when he was with the movie contracts.
But Wink ended up, continuing on to that. He was some of his most popular game show, I believe, was Gambit, that he did in the late 70s, I believe. And then we had the other one was Tic-Tac-Doe. I like that one a lot. Tic-Tac-Doe was my favorite. That was late 70s. I think he did High Rollers too. Alex Trebek did that one as well. And then there was this one in the 90s was called Debt. I kind of remember that one as well too.
He did 19 shows in his career.
19 like game shows? Or just shows in general?
Shows in general,
Oh, wow, I
between
didn't know
radio,
that. Yeah.
TV, everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then
74 years, 74 seasons.
Yeah, he had a
74
giant,
amazing,
giant career. Yeah. So they, again, Elvis and Wink continued on to their friendship. The next time that Wink and his wife Sandy then ended up basically meeting up with Elvis was in Vegas in 1976. So Elvis is back at the at this point the Las Vegas Hilton. It was the International. They meet up backstage, and they talk with Elvis, and they were a little shocked as to what they saw.
Well, at this point, we say 76, so
yeah,
changes were happening.
Things weren't going too well for Elvis health-wise, of course. So I think they both recognized that he wasn't in good health, and they both decided, you know what, hey, why don't you get away from some of this? You're welcome to come out. I think Wink had a place in Pacific Palisades, of all places. They had a place there, and they're like, why don't you come back and get away for a while, get away from the hype or whatever. We'll take care of you. I mean, they were really good friends. I mean, they just really wanted to help Elvis, and they were upset when they left him. So yeah.
And thing is though, not a lot of people, you think Wink Martindale, you just think game shows. You wouldn't think that he had this long.
I totally thought that.
Yeah, this history with Elvis, and
I never knew that. I loved Wink Martindale growing up. I'd seen him on some of these game shows, and I really liked his personality. I thought he was really cool. I watched a ton of game shows growing up. And I never knew that he had this connection to Elvis. And I'd already been at that point a giant Elvis fan. Pretty cool guy. And he certainly will be missed. And it's kind of sad because it's just another reminder that all these people that you love and you've seen over the years and are just one less person that's part of the circle that's around anymore. If you like what you saw, We appreciated having you on the Elvis Impact today for today's episode. Please, again, like, subscribe, share. If you subscribe to our channel, you automatically get recognized as one of our EIPs, and we'd love to have you as a community member. Please share your stories. If you remember anything about Wink Martindale, share that. If you remember anything going on around this time, whatever you have, put it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and do that. So with that said, that is a wrap on the Elvis Impact for this time, for this episode. We appreciate you hanging out once again. Till next time, peace.
Peace.